The leader of Iran has just fallen. Not poetically, really, concretely. No going back, and somewhere in the world. A man living a completely normal life, fake name, fake passport, neighbors who think he's a telecommunications. Engineer just saw that news on his phone without reacting, without smiling, without anything. Because you've spent so long unable to react that you no longer remember how it's done, that man is you. And this is what no news channel will ever tell you. It didn't start with a Mission Impossible. It didn't start with a briefcase full of money. It started with a €4.50 coffee on a Tuesday afternoon in Vienna. That's the price of the first step toward becoming the most valuable intelligence asset the CIA has had in the Middle East in 20 years. You're Iranian, born in Tehran, nuclear engineering doctorate at the Vienna University of Technology. Funded by an Iranian government scholarship, the equivalent of your employer paying for an elite degree while expecting absolute loyalty in return. The problem is, you've spent 5 years in Europe. 5 years watching how the world functions when no regime decides what you can think, who you can speak to, what you're allowed to see. 5 years is enough to fracture something inside you without you noticing you're not a dissident. No protests, no clandestine blog. You're something far more dangerous to the regime, someone who knows the system from the inside, and has seen that the world can work differently. That cannot be fixed with propaganda. You're 28, doctorate nearly finished, position waiting at Iran's Atomic Energy Organization. Your mother tells the neighbors her son is a nuclear engineer. Your younger brother Darius, 21, a revolutionary. Guard technician, texts asking when you're coming home. Everything perfectly ordered. Then a man sits down at your table in Kaff Schwartz's Kamil, 1st District of Vienna, and says his name is Michael. He's been following your file for 18 months, like CIA. That's the point. He looks like a university professor with bad shoes and a coat that needs ironing. Orders a coffee, pays cash, puts nothing on the table. Then he tells you, unsurprisingly, fluent Spanish, that he knows you finished your thesis 6 months early, that you turned down a German energy company offering triple your Tehran salary, and that last month you called your mother crying from a payphone because you didn't want to go back. That last detail stops you completely.
Ow.
You used a payphone. You took precautions. Michael drinks his coffee calmly. In that moment, you understand 2 things at once. First, they've been watching you far longer than he admitted. Second, if they wanted to hurt you, they already would have. This isn't a threat, it's an audition. 40-5 seconds of silence. Cups, the German conversations, the creak of old wooden floor become deafening. Then Michael places a card. With 1 phone number on the table, stands up, leaves a tip, and walks out. You stare at that card for 11 minutes. You take 4 days to call. But here's what you actually discovered that day. Not that the CIA wants to recruit you. What you discovered is that the CIA decided you were going to work for them 18 months before you did. They had you measured, weighed, and labeled before you knew they existed. Normal Michael doesn't ask for anything operational. He asks you to return to Tehran, accept the job, and be in every observable way exactly a loyal nuclear engineer the regime expects. That turns out to be the most psychologically expensive part of everything. And you haven't even done anything yet. Going back after 5 years in Vienna is like wearing a suit a size too small. The smell of dust and traffic and fresh parpare bread is the same, but you're not. And now you have to perform as if you are. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in front of your mother, Darius, your superiors. Your mother spends 3 hours making your favorite Fesenjan that first Sunday. You sit at the table, eat, smile, listen to your father, discuss politics. Hear Darius talk about guard operations, nod, ask questions, participate while one part of your brain records. Catalogs, archives everything, that's the first time. You understand that betrayal doesn't feel like betrayal when you rationalize it correctly. It feels like survival, like clarity. That should worry you more than it does. The work at the organization is technically fascinating and morally complicated. From day one. You have access to uranium enrichment projects the government calls civilian. But uranium enriched to 93% is not for generating electricity. No, you already know what it is. The first transmission, the line with no return, month 5. Michael requests 3 specific pages from a Nathan's enrichment facility annex. Operational capacity estimates. You photograph them in 40 minutes. Send them Thursday at 11:47 p.m. from your bathroom with the tap running, not to mask noise. But because the ritual anchors you, you finish. Store the device. Run the tap 1 more minute. Turn it off. Touch your hands even though they're clean. Look in the mirror. Someone in that mirror just crossed a line with no return. You can tell yourself whatever you want about democratic values, global security, the greater good. The reality is simple. You just handed classified national information to a foreign intelligence agency in Iran that has one very specific consequence. It's called public execution. Your hands don't tremble. That's what scares you most. Promoted by the system you're destroying, month 14. You're put in charge of technical coordination for project Symergy, the name the Iranian government gives programs they don't want the world to know exist. With this promotion comes access to real production estimates for enriched materials. At levels no civilian program requires, Michael responds to the news in 8 minutes. For someone who normally takes 48 hours, that's the equivalent of falling off his chair. The message: excellent. Maintain low profile. Next contact, 72 hours. Later 16 prioritized intelligence requirements. The first 6, level 1. Urgent. Someone in Langley hasn't slept properly in weeks waiting for exactly this. Month 16. Department meeting. Wednesday morning. Your director, Colonel Mohammadi, enters 5 minutes late. In a man of perfect military discipline, that means something. He says the Ministry of Intelligence has detected a leak in the nuclear facilities sector. Each department must submit an internal report on their own vulnerabilities. Your area, he says looking directly at you, has the broadest access to the compromised data. The pistachio in your mouth tastes like dust. The leak is you. And they just asked you to write the report about yourself. You spend 9 days on 16 pages. 5 theoretical vulnerability vectors. All plausible, none real, all designed to scatter. The investigation in 4 simultaneous directions. The colonel reads it nodding. Thanks you. Calls it thorough work. You go to the bathroom, open the tap, splash cold water on your face. The ritual no longer works the same way. They want the leader himself. Month 23. The mandate expands. Not intelligence about programs anymore. Intelligence about the supreme leader himself, his real movements. The locations that appear in no official calendar. The decision-making structure behind the public face. You take 48 hours to respond. You walk through Tehran, the Grand Bazaar, the Lele Gardens, the Neighbours neighborhood where the pine trees smell like nowhere else on earth. Think about Dariush. You think about your mother. You think about what happens to them if you're caught, which is not an abstract question. It is a very well-documented historical answer. Then you think about the real numbers inside the Simurg. Classified documents, you write 6 words back. Understood. Need time to position myself. For months of lateral access later, you're on a technical energy infrastructure committee with second layer. Documentation connecting directly to the operational calendar of facilities the leader visits twice monthly. Specific locations. Approximate dates. Security protocols you can infer precisely from your committee position. That's what the CIA needed, not a satellite, not a drone. 31-year-old nuclear engineer with level 4 clearance who can be in the right room with the right face point for seconds. 11:40 p.m. Thursday, your Tehran apartment. The device in your hand contains the 2-month calendar, inferred security protocols, movement patterns, vulnerability windows. Your phone vibrates. Darius. 40-second voice message. Successful operation. Colonel congratulated him. Very happy. And at the end, when are you coming to Mom's? She keeps asking. You listen to the whole thing? His voice carries that specific texture of someone who still believes the world makes sense. The texture you lost 2 years and 4 months ago over a €4.50. Coffee? You decide not to send tonight. The device vibrates again. No text. A photo? Your parents in their garden. Your mother in her green spring shawl. Your father reading the newspaper. Taken today from an angle only possible from outside the gate. 3 words in Farsi underneath. Don't be late. For the first time in 2 years, your hands tremble slightly. You open the device. You send everything. For seconds. Satellites, jump servers, hands in Langley that know exactly what to do. Then you call Dariush. Tell him yes this weekend. Mom's place. Long overdue. He laughs. Says perfect. You sit in the dark for 23 minutes listening to Tehran at night. The real climax, you do nothing. Weeks later, the world sees it. Accident first. Then unconfirmed incident. Then the careful diplomatic language states use when something happened exactly as someone intended. But no one can say so directly. The leader of Iran has fallen. You're in a department meeting when someone announces it. The room freezes. You perform genuine shock. You've spent 2 years and 7 months perfecting that face. It's flawless. The thought you can't share with anyone. Now the real danger starts. The Ministry of Intelligence investigates. By week 4, the pattern concentrates on one name, not yours. Arish Karimi, 34. Systems engineer, 11 years in the AA. Organization, 2 children. A wife who teaches Persian literature. A completely ordinary life of someone who has done absolutely nothing. The CIA has known for 2 weeks. The decision, don't intervene. Let Arash absorb the investigation. Let an innocent man's innocence function as cover for your guilt. 3 weeks ago, he told you over cafeteria lunch that he wanted to take his kids to Persepolis this summer. If the ministry reaches where it's heading, that trip won't happen. You do nothing. That is the real climax, not the transmission. The fall of the supreme leader. The moment you sit at your desk with your level 4 clearance and your excellent performance review and do nothing, while an innocent man becomes the convenient answer. It's Tuesday, 3:15 p.m. There's sunlight. Somewhere in Tehran, 2 children are in school not knowing their father has been under interrogation for 2 days. Your hands don't tremble. You're no longer scared that they don't. What scares you now is that you understand perfectly why. New life. Same hell. 6 weeks later. Exfiltration. For days, Istanbul, layover. A passport with a name that has never existed. A windowless room where 3 people thank you for your service with the same tone a company uses to thank a supplier for a timely delivery. New country, good weather. 2-bedroom apartment. A cover job. A memorized personal history. Your mother thinks you disappeared. Darius thinks you disappeared. There's an open file in Iran with your name, not for what you did, but because when the ministry finished with Arash Karimi and the investigation still didn't close, your sudden absence became the second convenient answer. You live with that. Every day under the sun of your new country. With neighbors who wave when you go buy bread and believe you're a telecommunications engineer. Somewhat reserved. Quite pleasant. Was it worth it? Right now, somewhere in the world, man with a fake name just saw the news of Iran's leader falling on his phone. He didn't react. He didn't smile. He felt this, that all those years, architecture of double identity. All those high-cost decisions paid for by people who never chose to pay them, ended in 4 seconds of transmission from a bathroom in Tehran. 4 seconds? From the €4.50 coffee in Vienna to today's headline? Everything between those 2 points reduced to 4 seconds of exfiltrated data and one question you've spent years unable to ask anyone. Was it worth it? You don't know, and that is the only honest answer that exists. You are free. You're safe. And you are a walking grave with a fake name in a country with good weather? A brother in Tehran who thinks you vanished? A mother in her green shawl in the garden, while perhaps someone is still watching from outside the gate? And with that, you have to live. Every single day. For the rest of your life.